And welcome to the session. So, in this session, we are going to talk about the recent developments in Canada. Canada, once known for its peaceful landscapes and harmonious society, is now facing a lot of divisive challenges that have shocked its citizens and the world equally. So, the recent events have unveiled a troubling narrative that, Khalistani separatists proclaiming themselves as the true owners of Canada and urging the white population to leave Canada. So, what led to such kind of statements, and what does this mean for Canada's future and its wide population? That's exactly what we are going to discuss. So let's dive deep into the complexities of this issue and try to uncover and understand the underlying problems. So if you look at the controversy, there is a viral video from Khalistani rally in Canada, Surrey. It has created a lot of ripples, and the protesters were seen chanting that white Canadians should go back to Europe and that we are the owners of Canada. So these slogans have left many Canadians shocked and concerned about the growing influence of this kind of separatist ideologies within their borders. And this seems like a isolated incident, but it's a symptom of deeper issue that has been brewing for years. So if you look at a peaceful country's troubled past, see, let's try to understand it deeper. So to understand the present, we must revisit Canada's history. So before the arrival of Europeans in the 17th century, Canada was home to indigenous people who had lived there for thousands of years. But the European settlers, driven by imperial ambitions, colonized the land and often committing acts of violence and genocide against the native population, like we have seen in India, also the same, right? So exactly the same. So even the Canada's Prime Minister Justin Trudeau also acknowledged this dark chapter in 2017, admitting that Canada had failed its indigenous people. So this history of displacement and marginalization continue to influence the socio-political dynamics of the country even now also. So now if you let's go to the Khalistani angle here. See, the Khalistani movement, that's a separatist ideology advocating a Sikh homeland, has found a safe haven in Canada over the years. And many of its supporters have leveraged Canada's democratic freedoms to push their agenda over there. But again, as they fail to achieve their goal in India, their focus increasingly shift to Canada because of the freedom and everything that they're getting over there. So this has led to a lot of internal tensions and evidenced by their anti-white slogans as well. That's exactly what you can see even now. So now if you see, it raises the question, if they can't establish a Khalistan in India, are they attempting to carve out a space in Canada for them like a Khalistan? So now let's also look at impact of Justin Trudeau's policies. Now, the critics often blame the Canadian Prime Minister for fostering an environment where such divisive ideologies can thrive. We have also discussed about the situation in our previous discussions when we talked about the India-Canada relation and how is it going and how is it getting worse and everything. So if you see his political approach, it's basically aimed at short-term gains and allowed the separatist element to grow unchecked. So Trudeau's government have repeatedly defended these groups also, and that have created frustrations of for the nations, like for India especially. And we have seen that a lot of issues between India and Canada also happened over a period of time, and we have discussed over that with respect to this Khalistani extremist as well. So again, India also highlighted the dangers posed by this Khalistani extremist in Canada as well. So if you see the Khalistani movement influence in Canada, that is going beyond what we thought of and what it's actually discussed so far. So from creating unofficial passports and currencies to forming unrecognized Olympic teams, these groups are constructing a pseudo state identity within Canada. So their actions, if left unchecked and if it is allowed to grow again, it can lead to demands for territorial concessions in the future also. So there's a separatist ideology, and this separatist ideology, initially aimed at India, now poses a significant threat to Canada's unity and stability also. And India have repeatedly warned Canada about the dangers of harboring Khalistani elements and the Khalistani extremists. So recently, India requested the extradition of, Arshdeep Singh Gill, a wanted Khalistani terrorist from Canada. And Canada has arrested him. It remains uncertain whether any concrete action will follow or not. Such incidents highlight the Trudeau government's reluctance to address the issue decisively, and that is again fueling the separatist confidence also. So here, the slogans calling for white Canadians to leave reflect a deeper resentment and a desire for identity assertion. So they are trying to assert their identity that they are the true owners of Canada. And by allowing such kind of ideologies to grow, and if it is not unchecked and if it is not controlled, Canada is actually risking, its own identity and its own people. So Canada risks fostering a parallel narrative that could erode its social fabric also. And if these groups continue to push for recognition and this kind of territorial claims also coming again, Canada may face unprecedented challenges to its sovereignty. So in future, this is going to have a territorial issue, and again, it is going to have challenges with respect to its sovereignty as well. So if you see Canada's the current predicament serves as a cautionary tale for nations across the world, and separatist ideologies, when given space to thrive, do not remain isolated. So initially you give the space, and if you allow them to grow just like what happened in Canada, this is not going to be like exactly like what it started, and it can become big and it can create such kind of issues also. So they expand their influence and they create tensions and challenges for the host nations, like exactly what the Khalistani elements are doing. Now, for Canada, the road ahead, if the future, if you see, requires strong leadership and decisive action to preserve its unity and the democratic values. Otherwise, this is going to pose danger and serious threats to its identity and also going to challenge its sovereignty. So guys, as Canada grapples with these rising tensions, one thing is very clear, that ignoring the problem is no longer as an option at this point of time. Whether through stricter policies or with international cooperation, Canada must address these issues to safeguard its future. Otherwise, this is again what we have discussed. The same, it is going to challenge the sovereignty also. The slogans heard in Surrey are not just words, they are a wake up call for Canada to rethink its approach. You cannot allow them to thrive again over there. So I hope this lessons lead to a meaningful change, and there can be stricter and stronger actions also. So let's hope for, or let's see what is actually going to happen in the future. So that's about this session, guys. I just wanted to update about this, and see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.